Welcome to The Bold Book of the Day with Dr. Denise Nicholson, a show that is a central hub and safe space for authors to share their stories. The Bold Book with Dr. Denise begins now.
Welcome back to the Bold Book of the Day podcast. My name is Dr. Denise Nicholson, and this podcast is for anyone looking for inspiration. Today, I am so excited to introduce to you Ms. Carylee Carrington because I have recently met her at the 54th Annual Legislative Conference, and she is as impressive as she is beautiful. And her sons are also incredible. I can't wait for you guys to hear about her. Welcome, Carylee.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Denise.
You're so welcome, guys. Carylee is the author of a series of delightful books. And the one that we're going to be discussing today is the one, You Name It, Graham Made It.
Yes, ma'am. We have it right here.
Yeah, so she said it was inspired by the viral Shirley Caesar Thanksgiving meme. Take it away, girl. Tell us all about what inspired this book, You Name It, Graham Made It.
Well, yes. Okay. As you said, it was inspired by the viral Shirley Caesar Thanksgiving meme. I am one that grew up with Shirley Caesar. I'm a church girl, PK, and my mom always sang Shirley Caesar, and I've been listening to Shirley Caesar since I was probably about 7. So hearing the meme, and I am an advocate for diversity in children's literature. I write for children that I know, children all around me. And of course, especially I write for children of color. So hearing this meme, and I was just like, there needs to be a story around this. And I first started to try to think of a song because I didn't want to, reuse the Shirley Caesar meme. But I wanted to find something that would get families together. And that was, one of the things that I do also is kind of think out of the box. But honestly, it's what we live every day. I want to be able to have children see themselves in ways that they've never seen it before. I've never seen a Black family on a Thanksgiving book. There are so few Thanksgiving books already, with everyone, you'll have Halloween books and then you have Christmas. There's not many that's about Thanksgiving. And I want to be able to have children see themselves in the books that they read. So I wanted, children to be able to see their families in the books that they read. And so I came up with the song first, and then started writing the book. And honestly, it took me only a few days to actually write the book, because once I got the concept of what I wanted, there was, I have 2 books that are actually right here that, my boys say, oh, those are girls' books because they have girls on the cover. So I wanted to have a little boy basically narrate the book, and it's his journey going to Graham's house, his great grandma actually, for Thanksgiving, and coming and meeting up with his family, and just really getting all of the joys and the complexities and everything that you feel going to your family's house for Thanksgiving. There's no pilgrims, there's no Indians. It's family and food.
It's the joy of family, the food, the love, and how when you get together with your family, it's just about creating memories that will last as long as you need it to hold you and to just give you some kind of restoration sometimes.
Yes, yes.
So tell us about Trey. How did you create this character?
Well, it's funny because I was just, trying to think of a name, and I was like, oh, okay, well, Trey is a name that I possibly heard it on a show,
Uh-huh.
and then it came into my head. And the funny thing is, and I don't have the picture to show you right now, but so
Uh-huh.
Trey is wearing this kind of argyle sweater.
Mm-hmm.
And after the book was published and I had it illustrated and everything, I looked back and my son has an argyle sweater vest that looks just like it, because everybody was just like, oh my God, that looks like your son. And I was just like,
You can't tell him that's not him.
exactly.
You're gonna
So
cause
I
some
have,
trouble.
yeah, I have my first book that was inspired by my son and my first son, and then I have this book now, which with Trey that looks like my son.
Wow. So how do these, because I met your boys. Do
Yes,
you only have two boys?
yes, only two
Okay.
boys.
Okay, so I met your two boys and they were so delightful. They were so smart. Did the characters reflect some of their characteristics?
A little bit, yes. I would say that Trey, Trey is the youngest. He has an older sister, but especially there's an interaction between them in the beginning of the book where his sister is rushing to the family kitchen to make sure that she gets ahead of him for breakfast. And that's the same dynamic that my boys have. And it's like I grew up with three sisters, actually two sisters. It was the three of us. So there's always, okay, all right, one two is gonna go with one, and then one get left out, and then it was never like all three of us. So
Are you the middle child?
I am the last.
Ah,
Yes,
you're
I'm the last. Yes. So, Trey has a little bit of me and it has a little bit of my youngest son as well.
okay, so Graham is the central figure in the book,
Yes.
as well as Trey is the narrator. Is Graham inspired by someone in your family?
Well, I would say Graham, because of course I kept the name Graham Shirley. So, to have that correlation between her and Shirley Caesar. But Graham definitely was a bit of my mother. My mother was a minister as well. And it doesn't state it in the book, but there definitely are implications that, Graham Shirley is a minister and she is someone that not just cares for her family, but cares for those around as well. And um, not to give too much of the book away, there's a point in the book where we see that Graham Shirley, she didn't just make Thanksgiving dinner for her family, which was a big family gathering. She also made dinner and gave to those who were in need. So that was definitely my mom. Like my mom would around the holidays, she would bake, that Jamaican cake at the black
Yes,
cake and everything like that. She would bake Easter bun and everything like that for
yes.
for those around. So it's my mom, it's Shirley Caesar, but I dedicate the book to all the matriarchs of the family because they're the ones that really keep the family together, and in most cases, they're the ones that feed us.
That's right. In my family as well, food traditions, they carry such a heavy cultural meaning.
Absolutely.
Is there a dish that carries that same weight and that special meaning in your family?
Ooh,
Mm.
there's a few.
There's a
there,
few, right? But you
there's a few.
mentioned black
Uh,
cake. That's
yes.
one of the cultural, it's not a dish, but it's
Mhm.
part of our Christmas. It's part of our
Yes.
weddings. It's part of some really cultural ties and celebrations and tradition.
Yes.
So, what dish would you say have a similar strong connection?
Well, I would definitely say, especially growing up Jamaican, and anytime I am able to find a Jamaican restaurant in the area, I always have to, I need to get my oxtail, but
Uh-huh.
definitely escovitch fish.
Uh-huh.
That is something that if I have it, if I see it, if I smell it, um, anytime we were going to go on a road trip or if we were going to go away from the house for at least a day, my
Yeah.
mother is making escovitch fish so that we can pack and carry and everything. So that for me, that's home. That
Yes.
that's the love, because of course you're on the road or whatever. My mom never wanted us to um go hungry, and like my sisters and I were very picky, so was my father. So it especially when we just migrated to the United States, there was no going and stopping at McDonald's.
Yes.
And
None
like
of
that, we
that.
weren't used to that yet. So, it would be, like if we're going somewhere, from the night before, mommy is making, frying
Right.
fish and putting it in the escovitch sauce and everything so that we have for the next day and, however long the trip lasted.
So Jamaican. Okay. Even if you're traveling back home from a trip from Jamaica, you have your
Exactly.
fried fish to go home with you. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
goodness. I can smell that fish right now. So, have you passed on? I mean, they're still pretty young, but
Mm-hmm.
are you teaching them the art and the culture of getting in the kitchen and cooking?
Well, yes. My son
Mm.
from an early age, they always wanted to be in the kitchen, especially my eldest.
Mhm.
I have pictures of him, trying to help me in the kitchen. And, and like he's 13 years old now, and he's just like, okay, all right, well, mommy, if you're not going to be home when we come home from school, oh, I can cook. And I'm like,
Oh,
absolutely not. But but he likes to try to do things. I will be home and he'll say, okay, well, can I cook? And I will try to be there as kind of like, the the one, like I'm sitting at the island and giving him the instructions on what to do. And whenever he gets in, whatever he wants, because of course, he's a teenager now,
yes,
he
get in
will come
there.
in and he'll be my sous chef. So,
Yes.
that's definitely one thing that I try to instill in them, because, like I said, I grew up with three girls, and my father was always, okay, go in the kitchen and watch what your mother's doing, because, when you leave, you're not coming back. so, so that
Yes.
that's definitely, something that stays with me. And even trying to get the culture, they love Jamaican food.
Yes.
Anytime I go to New York, they were like, okay, all right. They will agree to go to New York for the food. They're not too
You have to
enamored.
promise them food.
Exactly. As long as we can go to a Jamaican restaurant, they're fine. If we
Is
don't,
there anything specific that they're like, when we go to New York, this is what I want?
well, they love beef patties. They love
Uh-huh.
beef patties. And my eldest, he is one that loves oxtail as well. My youngest son, he just right now he's just like, okay, give me rice and peas and gravy. I'm good. But they love beef patties, and they want the authentic one from the Jamaican restaurants in New York.
Yes, from in the Bronx. Do you guys come to the Bronx or you go to
And
Brooklyn?
Brooklyn,
Okay.
we go to Brooklyn most of the time, but I do have family up in the Bronx as well.
Which dish in the book has a more special or significance for you?
Well, yes, for me, that's the carrot cake.
I
Mom,
love carrot cake too.
yeah, Trey's mom, that is her contribution to the Thanksgiving dinner. And for many years, that was my contribution. My mom taught me how to make carrot cake from scratch. And actually, funny enough, there was one year, because I was there, kind of being a little bossy, and I was like, okay, all right, mommy, my carrot cake is better than yours.
Oh my goodness, you tried it.
So we had a bake-off,
Uh-huh.
and my father had to be the judge.
Ooh, why you guys put that man in such a tight spot?
And I won. So, but you
better say that part quietly because I'm sending her this podcast interview. Yes, you heard that. She said she won. Dad said she won. She didn't say she won. Dad said she won.
Yes.
Let's get that.
So that was one thing, I was able, and I just say, what, it's the master and the student. So, she took it all that.
That says that she gave you your all.
Yes.
She gave you all that she knew. And then because she raised this spicy girl, you were able to put your own little twist and spice to it. Okay. Yes, so it's all her anyway.
Exactly. Yes.
What's a lesson that you think Trey learns from grandma in this book?
Definitely giving. And that's one of the things that we came back to in the book, when Trey found out that his grandma was, also sharing the food with others outside the family. That was one thing that he was really excited to ask her about at the end of the book. And that was the lesson that he got from Graham, that it's better to give than to receive. And if, God has blessed us with plenty, so we should give back as well.
Beautiful. Now, was that intentional? Was that a lesson that you wanted to share with other young people?
Yes, because, like I said, for especially Black families, that's what it really is all about. I don't know, and I've gone to, several different family members, friends of families' houses for Thanksgiving. And, there is not that stingy, kind of sense. It's like, you come in the house and everybody is pushing food on you. You're like, okay,
yes.
all right,
I'm full.
Exactly. You go to a Black family's house, and from the time you enter the doors, oh, do you want something to drink? You want food? You want this? You want that? And you'll be sitting there, and it's just like, okay, you're stuffed, but they're still going to offer you more.
Listen, my husband and I went to visit a friend in a Nigerian home.
Oh,
honey. And when we got there, they were cooking and we were trying to leave before they finished cooking. But they were like, no. You're going to stay here and eat. And if you say no, it's a rejection. It's an
insult.
It's an insult. And we, first of all, the food was delicious, but we didn't want a second plate. So my goodness, when my husband and I finished, they were like, oh, you're finished? Here's some more. Here's some this, here's some that. let me tell you, after that, I was like, the food was so good that we
Uh-huh.
tried to replicate it at home when we, another
Oh,
time. But I
uh-huh.
said I would never go back because they kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and boy, girl, and it was so good. We kept saying, okay, we're not gonna eat it all. We're just gonna have a little bit. And they said, oh no, if you don't eat it all, that is an insult. I said, oh my
Yeah.
goodness. But it reminds me of a Jamaican home,
Mhm.
how once you walk through the door, they're just pushing food on you.
Yeah. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
actually told by actually a Nigerian friend of mine that um Nigerians are the Jamaicans of Africa. So I was just like, okay, that's no wonder we
Now we
click.
know why.
Exactly.
Yes, we have a lot in common.
Yes.
And so, it's part of your tradition to have food at celebrations. Food is a big part of the memory, because if you start to think about something from a childhood, it just, when you think of the food that is associated with it, then you remember that thing, or how you
Mhm.
felt, even how you feel, about it, based on the food. Like, you remember you walk into the kitchen now and you smell Jamaican cake cooking, you
Yep.
start remembering Christmas when you were young,
Exactly.
you know
Yes.
wow. Yes, we can talk about, this is a good book. This is a really good book to teach culture and to
Yes.
teach tradition, because it's both a Thanksgiving tradition and the
Yes.
culture of the foods that we're cooking. Children's book often need to entertain while teaching. Did you
Mhm.
have any entertaining messages, or did you use entertainment to share any message in this book?
Well, yes. Like I said, I wrote the song first, and the song is in the book, and it's QR coded in the book. So
Ah,
at the end of the book, you have all of the lyrics to the song, and you have the QR code, so that you don't have to kind of imagine what the song may sound like. The song is right there, and you can sing along with the song as well. So it's something that comes full circle. And actually, in 3 of my 4 books right now, we do have songs in all of them, so that children could be able to remember the message of the book.
yeah.
And anytime you hear that song come on anywhere, you're gonna be humming and thinking
Jam.
about the book. Yeah.
Yes. Wow. What was the writing process like for you? Because I heard you mention that you started with trying to create a song.
Yes.
Was it easy for you to write the song and then create the book, or
Mhm.
is that your process?
Well, my process changes, I think, with every book. With this
Mhm.
one, I really wanted to try to get the song first. Once I got the song, it was kind of like the book just came out. You know, I knew what
Wow.
I wanted the book to be about because of the song. Because the song, I set out to write a family Thanksgiving song, and it was, the song is basically from Ram, and she's saying, you know, hey family, I want you to remember this. This is why we do Thanksgiving. You come from miles, you come on a either airplane, train, car, whatever, and we're all here together, and we're enjoying this time together. So just, remember what this is all about.
Yes.
Mhm.
Remember that it's more than, the food.
Yes.
It's about family and coming together and sharing.
Yes.
So the writing process is was it easy for you?
It depends on the book.
Okay.
This one, like I said, I wrote the book in a couple days. And my process is always, at the end of it, I always give it over to my boys, because of course they know what kids are looking for. So if the book doesn't make sense to them, it doesn't, I go back and either do rewrites or edits.
Yes.
And, my final kind of editing phase, my mother was a teacher, and I have friends that are teachers. So I actually have my friends look at it to see, okay, is this something that you would want in your class?
Yes.
Is this something that your students would relate to? But yes, the writing process, I say once you have the passion, or once you know what your heart is, it's easy for it to just come out.
So knowing that you are this author in the family, and you've carved out this path, you have now said to your children that leaving a legacy is not hard, because I did it. How are they going to top this?
Well, they have their own paths that they're forging right now. I instill in them all the time that, there may not be much that I would be able to leave them or give them, but if I can give them a sense of entrepreneurship and building something, like right now, they have their own clothing line. They have their own brand that they've started.
I'm not surprised. Next year, they should have their own booth at the ALC. I don't know how you're going to do when they have their own booth, because they are fierce. Okay.
Yes. I'm going to, well, I'm their, I guess, their marketing manager, their person that gets them riled up.
You've got them riled up, honey. Yes.
But, even creating a legacy, because one of the things, especially why I am still going and going, I wrote my first book. I didn't think that there would be anything coming from that. And, I started to write my second book, Pretty Hair, and I finished it, and I went through the process. I didn't think that I would be writing 3, 4, and now 5 coming. This was not a path that I set out on, but my mom was a literacy coach. She was an educator. She always wanted me to write. And then, I started, like, she was the one that pushed me into this. She told me to, because when I wrote my first book, I said, oh yeah, this is something cute. I sent it to her, and she was just like, let's publish it. And I was just like, and I said, I don't want to be that J.K. Rowling story and have my book sit on somebody's shelf for years, and I'm sitting there homeless trying to figure something out. And she told me to look up self-publishing. I never really heard of self-publishing before. And I looked it up, and I found a self-publisher, and we got started with that process. And, like I said, she really pushed me to be able to do that. And then, book number 2 came, and I'm thankful that she was actually able to see book number 2 before she passed. And book number 3 is dedicated to her. She is actually in the book. Awesome. And then, just coming with You Name It, Graham Made It. Everybody was just like, oh, yeah, we know that's about your mother. We know that's about your mother. And I was just like, well, yeah, there's elements of her in it, but it's not directly about her. But, just having that legacy to go on, because I know she wanted to write a book before she passed. She didn't get the opportunity to. And I said, you know what? I know that she lives on through what I'm doing, because, this was never my path. I never thought that I would be a published author. I never thought that I would be crusading for diversity in children's literature and making sure that children feel seen in the books that they read, and wanting to even continue and help other authors as well be able to find their story, find their journey, and go on to help other children.
There's some big messages that you've written about, and I just want to celebrate you because you've taken on that role of creating these messages in a platform that, in a book that these kids feel like these people represent me, and representation matters. So thank you for championing that. And again, I heard you say that your mother wanted to write a book before she passed. And I want to say, I'm so sorry for your loss. It is, but she's instilled and created a legacy in you, because the things that she has taught you, you've done greater with them than she expected. Although she was encouraging you to, you got to write this book and you got to publish it. Now you have published 5 books.
Yes, five coming. But
I saw, how many did you have on your table in Washington?
4 on my table, and we have 5 in number 5 is coming. Right now. Yes.
Oh, congratulations. So your mother has created this legacy.
Yes, absolutely.
And I want to say to the person that's listening, procrastination is an assassination of our great destination. You can want to do something, or you're missing, you see something that's missing in your community, and you are waiting for someone to fix it. Carylee Carrington says, oh no, it's missing. If not me, then who?
Exactly. Yes. That is definitely something that I not struggle with, but I know that this has been laid upon my life, and this is something that I am supposed to do, because when I started in it, when I wrote my first book, I went around, I was calling myself the accidental author. And that is now 7+ years. And, I have written 4 books. I have branded myself. I'm the tutu queen and read with Carylee. Even when I created this logo of, me jumping out of a book with a tutu on, I did not dream that it would have taken me to the annual legislative conference with the CBC. I did not think that it would put me on the stage of TEDx. Did not think that it would put me on the stage of, the CBC. Others were coming around saying, I love what you're doing. Keep on doing what you're doing. And people that I met, Angela Rye, and she was just like, oh, I gave her my card and told her what I do. And she was just like, oh my gosh, I love this. And, I had one mom came, and she came by my booth, and I was telling her about what I do, and she started to cry. And she was just like, she has this for her. She, got 2 books for her 2 girls. And she's just like, I'm able to now give my daughters books with children that look like them. And, just really reiterating and making me know and making me aware that what I am doing matters. And that's really big to be able to come away from that conference with.
Yes, we walked away with so many great lessons from that conference, and I was able to see you in so many different forms. Like, you were on so many great stages, and when you were writing your book, like you said, you didn't expect that these things will follow you after deciding that you're going to be an author. So people, if you're sitting on a story, if you're sitting on a message, if you are sitting on a big idea, that you think that it needs to be shared, now is the time, because instead of thinking about or what could go wrong, just put one foot in front of the other and just start. Because, like Carylee just said, she has now found herself on a global stage. She has been to TEDx talks. She has been to the 54th annual legislative conference. And girl, there were so many people there. I don't know if you went to the breakfast the next morning. There were 5,000 people at the breakfast. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
This is no small thing. So, and that was just a fraction of the people that were there.
I think there were over 20,000 people that were registered.
Almost 25,000 people registered for the conference. Okay. So a good amount of, that's a lot. And she was in this place on the stage, because I followed you. You were on stage and I was after you. I spoke after you. Yeah. Guys, this is amazing opportunity. So stop sitting on your message. Stop sitting down on your book. Stop sitting down and waiting for the perfect time, because there is no perfect time. Okay. So thank you so much, Carylee, for coming on and sharing your story and just sharing your journey and sharing that book. Please share with us, where can the audience who is listening, where can they pick up that book or any of your books?
Yes. Well, you can pick up all of my books at readwithcarylee.org. We have our entire platform. You can see all the things that I've been doing. Well, not all. we got to limit some things, but you can see all of the work that I've been doing. You can view my TEDx talk. You can see the authors from my podcast, Read with Carylee, and really tap into the other authors that we have on there as well. Because Read with Carylee is not just centered around me; it's also my platform is to uplift other authors, other children's authors that do not have a place. They may, they may be one speck out there, but if we all come together, we can create rocks that can, do some damage to those.
That's right.
To those who want to keep our books out of the hands of children, and make sure that we are doing great things for our children, because we want to make sure that they can see themselves. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter if you're tall, short, bald, black, white, yellow, red, whatever.
Representation matters.
Find yourself in a children's book.
Absolutely.
So that you can know that there is hope for your future.
Yes, I agree 100%. When you can pick up a book and see someone that looks like you, or hear a story that reminds you of yours, it just strengthens who you are. You don't feel like an anomaly. You see that's, there's someone out there like you. Where did your love of stories come from? Where do you remember the beginning?
My mother. My mother was a teacher, and she said that her best friends were her books. And she would there was no summer that I could get away with not reading a book. And she pushed and pushed and pushed until I loved it. And I have done the same with my children, thankfully. And even this summer, it was, Mommy, what? I have a library card. Can we go to the library?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yes. That is one place. Like, there are two places that my kids could ask me to take them to that I will never say no to: church and the library. So that's where I got my love of books, and it's just been something that I am so fortunate and so blessed that I can actually write books, and not just write books, but write children's books where I
Yeah.
have children coming up to me and saying, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I loved your book." I'm like, that, like, yeah,
It's
I'm not,
everything. It's
yeah.
everything. It's so everything. Thank you, Carylee. Before you go, there are three questions that I love to ask my guests before they leave. And it may come to you as a shocker, but what's one bold promise that you can share with the audience?
One bold promise that I can share with the audience. I'm gonna keep on going.
Ooh.
Like, especially in this time with this administration that we have that wants to
Yes.
ban and censor books, I'm going to keep on going because our children deserve it. During the pandemic, I had started my, Read with Carylee show as a show that was local. And I said, okay, yeah, I'll do a few episodes. And when we were coming down to the time where I said that, okay, these are all the episodes that I'm going to do this time, and then we may start again another year, the pandemic happened.
Oh,
And instead of just, having children's authors from around the DMV, DC, Maryland, and Virginia, I was able to put a shout out and had authors from all around the world. We even had authors from Indonesia, authors from Australia, New Zealand. They all were able to come on my show to share their book. And even now when we have the book bans, and right now we're having the government shut down, and also schools closing and them wanting to shut down the Department of Education. Well, you know what? They may be able to shut down their organizations, but this organization, Read with Carylee, will continue to go.
woo! I love it. And I loved how you wrap that up, because that is a bold promise that I am going to keep on going. Y'all could shut down any book organization you want, but this book organization is going to keep on churning them out. That is a bold promise. Now, what's a bold statement that you can share with the audience that may cause a paradigm shift?
Ooh, Black is beautiful.
Yes.
Black is beautiful. Our children are beautiful. Our children are magnificent. They are great, and they deserve to have their stories told.
Period.
Yeah, that's it. Period. I shared with either another podcast or a radio. I did not, the first time that I actually saw Black characters in a book was Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. And that was in the 5th grade. I read that in the 5th grade. And I'm like, that changed my life. And then
did you go to the 5th grade here in America?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And then there was I can't remember the name of the book, but it was by Jamaican Kincaid, and there was a Black girl on the cover. This was in high school. And I had that book. They almost had to charge me for that book because I got it from my school library. You
didn't want to bring it back, huh?
Yeah, I kept that book. My first, I done some acting earlier in life, and my monologue that I had for my audition was from the book from Jamaican Kincaid. I don't know why I can't remember the title right now, but I love being able to see that representation, and having our children be able to see, a representation of themselves other than with, civil rights or slavery. I want kids to be able to see themselves in everyday situation. A little girl, Maya sings country, a little girl that's singing country music. hello, Beyonce, and
Yes,
with
yes.
pretty hair, you know, two little girls who they you know, kind of get into a situation about hair textures.
Mm-hmm.
These are things that our children go through every day. Why does
Yes.
it have to be some magnified situation for them to actually see themselves in a story? And even with You Name It, Graham Made It, it's a family coming together and having Thanksgiving.
A family that looks like yours.
Yes.
Mm,
You see it face to face every day. Why not in a
yes,
book? So
yes.
Black is beautiful. Our children needs to be celebrated. Our children are loved and appreciated, and they should see themselves in books.
And it's very important for them to see themselves as early on as possible because it builds a certain kind of confidence that when that confidence walks through the room, it doesn't matter what you say after that because you've already come in like a lightning bolt. People can feel your confidence. So let's start to develop that as early on. A lot of people ask me, Denise, how did you become so confident? I believe because I've encountered a lot of trauma, but I believe my confidence helped me to overcome that. And I believe that my confidence is a part of the fabric of who I am from a very early age because I saw people that look like me when I went to school in Jamaica for many years. So the books, the people that looked like me was in my reading book from I started school from first grade, kindergarten. The people that looked like me were in those books. I remember, I think it was second grade, one of my favorite books was The Girl Under the Mango Tree eating her mango. She looked like me eating her mangoes, you know. So I believe that my confidence is ingrained in the fabric of who I am because I saw people that looked like me very early on in almost every part of my education. So guys, go out there, go to Carylee, say it again so that they can go to the website and get the book.
Readwithcarolee.org.
Okay, readwithcarolee.org. Guys, please go out there and support my sister. She is wonderful. She's amazing. I'm so glad I have met you because now I understand you have such a brand, such a personality. Guys, when you see her brand. Okay. This lady did not play about her brand. I love it. It says girly tutu free. Those boys came in and balanced you out a lot.
Yes, they do.
Because she is all frills when you see her. But then they came in and they were mannerable, they were strong, they were salesmen also. I saw people, I believe your booth was next to mine and it was the last booth. And even though it was the last booth, this booth got the most people visiting in our area because those boys was not playing about their mama. Okay.
No.
They were not playing about those books. They believed, they were so proud. They believed in those stories and they wanted everyone to see what they could see from being in your presence. And it just brought me so much joy. I can't wait for them to write their own books because girl, I can tell that their pride, the amount of joy that that I could see oozing out of them. I could see them just writing a book and going out there promoting these books. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what's next for you? What is a bold promise, a bold thing that you're going to do in the future, a bold move that you're going to make in the future? That's my third and final question.
I will say right now, you know, a bold move that I am making right now is kind of like peeling back the layers of the onion. You know, I am pretty much a private person. Like that's one thing that I definitely get from my mom. Like, you know, I will be out there, I'll be working, I'll be doing so much, you know, but kind of staying behind the scenes of some things. And even though, my Read with Carylee has become a persona, but there's still a lot of people that want to know Carylee. And so actually, like we're recording this October 1st, I said, you know what, I'm throughout this year has been a little rocky for me, even though I have had a lot of amazing things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want people to be able to see the real deal, because I come here and most of the time I'm promoting my books, I'm promoting other authors, I'm promoting diversity in children's literacy, but there's not a lot of people. If they just see a snippet of what I'm doing, they may not stay around, or I would say probably out of 50 poster reels, I may put one thing about me being a single mom and having to do that and having to really instill it. So being able to talk about my boys, being able to share with others, and you being able to see kind of the background of it all, like I said, at the ALC, it was, okay, mommy, we got this, you stay here, we'll go do. And I'm like, okay, all right. Sometimes I'm like, okay, all right, I hadn't seen them in about a half hour, but so it's really being able to especially show other people that you don't have to have it all together. You don't have to have things perfect. You don't have to have the husband or the family behind you or the cheerleaders behind you. You can, if you have a purpose, you have a promise. God would not have put it in your hands if he didn't think that you were capable, and he's going to be the one to hold you up with that. So, it's really showing people the kind of the nitty gritty, and I may still hold a little bit back because that's just the anxiety in me. But I
hold your babies.
Yeah,
they're growing up.
I want others to be able to see that you can do it. You just have to have the ability to go. And as you say that, I hear them coming through the door.
What an inspiring conversation today. Thank you so much, guys. Please go out there and get this book. You name it, Graham made it. I love how you made it. You name it, Graham made it. It just captures not only the joy of food and family, but it also captures the deeper love, the legacy that comes with tradition. So if you want to share a little bit of tradition and have a conversation about tradition, this is a great place to start. Get this book. I can vouch for it. If you're listening and you would like to write a book and get your message out there, send me an email at authordnicholson@gmail.com. I'll help you get your book idea out of your head and onto paper. Thank you for joining, and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for the Bold Book of the Day with Dr. Denise Nicholson, a central hub and a safe space for authors to share their stories. Follow Dr. Denise on Facebook and Instagram at Denise Nicholson, or go to denisenicholson.com. Remember, no one can share your story better than you.